Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of the Business Unscripted podcast. I'm your host, Dave Warden, founder of Triumph Business Solutions, and I'm here with my buddy, my partner, Dwarn. Dwarn, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to another show.
Hey, Friday night for me, wrapping up things. Probably should have a beer in my hand, but I don't. Instead, I got a glass of water because I want to stay, on task here tonight. But no, it's been a great week, Dave. Great week. And sorry I couldn't make it last week. Other commitments. I'm sure you handled the yourself with elegance.
Well, I'm sure everybody is happy that they don't just get to see my face on the screen today. That's for sure. So, or listening to just me. Yeah,
today instead.
For sure. So, all right, everyone. So, whether you're, a seasoned entrepreneur or maybe you're just thinking, how do I even get started in business? We hope that in this podcast, we're going to be taking you through our struggles, our challenges, things that we're working on as well. Like just giving you that behind the scenes look at what it's like being a business owner, the things you got to do, the different tools we're going to be running into and sharing with you all. But we're happy. We're looking forward to another episode. So grab your cup of Joe and let's jump into it. But Dward, so, last week, we had talked 2 weeks ago, the last time you were here, about like the LinkedIn newsletter kind of feature that's in the system that people can be using. And I kind of gave some background information of the results that I had seen from it. I've been posting every day on it. I know you're posting every day on it. What's the results that you've seen, and what's something that's positive that's come out of it for you?
Well, it's good you bring that back up. I actually decided to, with the results I'd had, I was so impressed. I decided to work with a couple of my partners back in Australia, some clients, and I showcased what we were doing. And I showcased the results. So I wanted to see in a different part of the world, in a different industry, how this could work. It just happens to be that these two clients actually are in a very similar industry. And they're doing really good. Like they're getting some great results. And it's really interesting because from a single article, they're only doing a weekly post, the pair of them, and they're getting at least 10% of their total base following them at the moment. So on the worst case scenario, so one of them has about 330 people who actually follow his account and he's actually connected with. And he's got over 33 people following him on his newsletter now. Right. And it was phenomenal.
And that's like, we're not saying like this is like months and months like into it. Like he's like
a week this is a week in.
Yeah.
This is 1 week in. I'm second post today.
Yeah, I'm on week 2, just over week 2. I think I have like just shy of 260 people that are subscribed to the newsletter and been posting every day. And like I said it last week, the biggest thing that people can get value on is that LinkedIn is taking these and putting them in your followers, in your subscribers' mailbox, right? On their phone, it's giving them a notification that, hey, this person who you subscribe to, whether it's you or me, I get yours all the time now that I'm subscribed to you.
I get yours too.
Yeah, it's like,
your AI image is looking even better now. It looks more like you.
Yeah, hey, but that's the cool thing with AI, which is another thing that everybody's learning about right now, is that there's so many new things that you can put out by using a reference photo, et cetera. So there's a lot of cool things that are happening quickly, and if you're not staying on top of it, things can change. But Dwayne, for you personally, I know you're putting things out like every day, like with the newsletter feature there. What's one thing that you are seeing, not necessarily even your clients?
Look, I'm averaging around about 1,000 impressions every single week. So every 7 days, when I do my check, I get my 7-day cycle. I'm getting about 1,000 impressions. That's 1,000 eyeballs looking at what I'm posting just on my newsletters. I'm getting around about an average of 5 to 6 interactions on every newsletter. And it's not always the same people. Generally, what I'm seeing is there's a variety of different, 1 or 2 people new. Every now and again, we'll find something that resonates with them. And I'm not really doing very much except for scheduling this out and then sitting back and letting it post automatically every day. So like I've got the next 2 weeks worth of posts already written, added. It takes me like less than 15 minutes to create a post. And I've been finding some new techniques and strategies, which, I'll talk about, in a later time. But to make that even more interesting. So, and what I'm finding is you can still put your opinion, your twist. You can really take that. You can make it really fun, engaging, quick to read, and people are liking it. I've actually had
Right.
people come and say, "Oh yeah, so I saw your newsletter. It's really great. I really appreciate you putting that out." I've had people reaching out to me on LinkedIn who I'd never heard of before, or I chatted to a long time ago, and it started that conversation with them again because I'm now front of mind with people again.
Yep. And that's the big thing here. It's awareness, right? You're getting
It is.
your face, your name, right, your information out, and you're presenting educational value to your network, to people who you want to be right in touch with. So
And I think that's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, that's what we're doing this for. It's one of these processes which it's very low maintenance to keep doing this, especially if you're only doing one post a week. And I've got a couple of clients, like I said, who are doing the one post a week because that's what they're comfortable with right now. For those couple of clients, what I decided to do was go and create them a custom GPT where I created a framework. I told it to, in their case, they're Australians, so write in Australian English because their clientele are Australian, and come out with exactly this sort of framework and output by simply just putting in one piece of content that they want to talk about, or a topic, or a URL they want to talk about. And they're loving it because it just makes their job so much easier. It gives them their wording. They can add a little bit more of a personal touch by adding a bit more information if they want. But their main time crunch now is just trying to choose the right image for the header, and going into Canva and doing a little bit of editing. So, but they're loving it. Like they're actually disciplining themselves to, all right, I've got to write my article this week. All right, I like this and I like this. Instead of posting twice this week, I'm going to post out this for the next 2 weeks. And eventually what's going to happen, I know it's going to be like you and I, where they're going to go, you know what? This is actually not that hard. There's lots of cool things to talk about in my industry. I'm going to post something out. And they're going to use those techniques like we talked about, where they can get that information turning up in their inbox. I'm really thankful. I've got, like I said, information coming into my inbox all the time. So I'm just picking cool shit that comes into my inbox that I want to talk about.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like it's you mentioned before, like Google alerts, like just signing up for Google alerts on some interesting trending topics, and then you can kind of share your insights. My
Absolutely.
first newsletter is about basically taking videos that I find interesting, that I find engaging, and then breaking them down into topics that people can digest in under 5 minutes. Find something that's educational to your target client. That's the idea. Is think of who's your ideal profile, who's your ideal client, and find out what's interesting to them, right? What's
Yeah.
impactful to them, and then how can you turn that into a constant, kind of newsletter stream once, twice a week to start. You don't have to do something wild and crazy, but it's that system that you can develop for yourself. So scheduling the time every week to do it, whether it's an hour, hour and a half to do 1 or 2 articles. How do you make it more interesting? I mentioned Napkin. Napkin is a cool software. I love it. You can highlight text, you can turn it into diagrams, and it does it pretty easily for you. You pick the one that you like. And what's nice about Napkin is right now it's still free. You don't have to sign up for anything right now. You can have your branding in there. You can do all of that. So I love it. I highly suggest it. But then LinkedIn, the feature there also makes it easy, right? The formatting, the headline. You can use Canva, as you were mentioning, Canva for your imaging. It's too easy not to get started on it. That's the problem. Is I feel like so many people want to make an excuse where it's going to take time and all that, but it's so easy to do it. And I think you just got to get started. You just got to kick yourself in the butt and get started.
Oh, absolutely. Take the step, put the first post out. If you are hesitant and not sure, just put the first post out and then go and check your impressions. Go and check how many people interact. And you know what? It's not about how many people like your post. It's not about how many people are sharing your post or commenting on your post. It's about how many eyeballs are looking at your post. So that 1,000 impressions I'm getting, I love that. I think that's brilliant. Because
Where
for
can
me,
you get 1,000 impressions on your name, on your business name, for practically free? Right? You'd have to
absolutely.
pay for it anywhere else. It's just about putting it out there. And actually, that one of my upcoming newsletter things is going to be on Gary Vee, where he talks about the power of literally posting every day.
Yeah.
And it's just in that presence It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't matter, any of that. As you were just saying, it really matters in just getting people to see your name, recognize what you're doing, etc.
That's it. It's all about the personal branding, the brand awareness. And what people are going to start to do is they're going to start associating you with what you're talking about. So for me, a lot of my stuff's tech, AI, that sort of marketing here and there. I mix it up a little bit, but mostly I stick to my main topics. Stuff that I'm pretty authoritarian on, I guess, but I also enjoy. And I know that people who are going to follow and listen to my newsletter are not going to have a, what the hell is he talking about this for? I'm talking about things that are
You're not
relevant.
talking about sports or anything like that, right?
Exactly. I'm not talking about,
You're
there is some articles out there which, are a little bit clickbait style titled, but they're actually articles about the topics I'm talking about. And the good thing is you can grab that information. You can talk about stuff that's relevant. And if your industry is like, maybe you're in an industry that's not as exciting. Maybe you're in an industry that doesn't have a whole bunch of information going out, changing all the time. But think about the questions you're getting asked by the customers that you're dealing with on a daily basis. And just start writing content around those questions that they might have to help educate them a little bit better. Teach them about different things.
even if you don't know what questions you're asking, ask ChatGPT. There is
Mm-hmm.
so many ways for you to get the information, but don't make an excuse why you can't get the information. Go out and find a way to get the information.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
right at your finger. We are in the information age. That's why we always say it. Give away the how to, right? Give away the how to. Anybody can find out how to do it. But where people are going to need help with is the implementation. And so sell the implementation, help them with the implementation. So right now, give away all that information, answer their questions, give away a process, something like that. And then once they learn it, they're gonna be like, man, I can't keep doing this. I need help with it. Perfect. Now this is where you and your business can come in to actually help them with it.
100%. Like I said, like I'm taking 10, 15 minutes per post to do from start to finish. The average, when you start this, you might take 30 minutes to 45 minutes, maybe an hour to create your first post. So maybe
Right.
creating one post a week is all you can really focus on. Maybe you're second guessing what you're posting about. Maybe you're trying to make it look too pretty. Maybe you're spending a lot of time in napkin making lots of infographics to go with it. All these things are possible, right? So over
Yeah.
time, you're going to get better and better and better at it. And it's like a muscle. You're going to, work it and it's going to get stronger. It's going to get more efficient in what it's doing. And what's interesting about this is you don't have to do daily posting. We're doing daily posting because we're testing something for ourselves and
Right.
we're seeing great results. And for us, we're seasoned when it comes to AI. So we're able to leverage AI as a great tool and assistant to really help us get that information out that we want to talk about. But like I said, some industries like tax, maybe tax isn't that exciting, and doesn't have something to talk about every day. And that's okay. Just do a daily. Don't do a daily post about it. Do something that's
Do
you
once or
know
twice a week. Do like a
simple.
Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday,
Yeah,
Friday. Like you can
mix
pick.
it
That's
up.
the idea. You just be educational, be informational. And here's the thing that I think a lot of people have to get over, and I know I had to get over this part too. Is just because you talked about something doesn't mean everybody in the world saw it,
Absolutely.
especially in your network. And just because you talk about something or that you like, oh man, this topic's been talked about, doesn't necessarily mean that John Smith, who might see your post, has heard about it either. How many times, Dwarn, have you potentially talked to somebody about something new where you're in your mind is like, hey, this is so well known. And then the individual you're talking to goes, man, that's interesting. I never knew that. There's
So
things
many
I
times.
hear about it. I talk to people. I never do things. You know,
Yeah.
to assume that your target client knows everything that you want to tell them, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Well, absolutely. It's like going into a mechanic and expecting that, if you're not a mechanic and expecting to know everything the mechanic knows. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, you're going, there's a noise in the back. I need you to fix it. That's most people. They're not going to say there's a noise in the back. It's probably the rear wheel bearing. Can you take a look at it? Things on the left side. Because what's
Right.
going to happen is they're just going to focus on that. They're the expert in their trade. Let them go and learn about it. And this is what we forget. We are the experts in our trade, in what we do. And sometimes we take it for granted what we know that other people don't know. And you're right. Consistently, I'm finding out, I'm on a meeting. Hey, do you know about this? Oh, no, I never heard about that. Have you ever tried this? No. Have you tried this tool? No. And it's not about overwhelming, but it's just about educating. So, I mean, prime example, if you're in, let's say, tax, I know I've picked tax a couple of times, but if you've got let's say a white paper article or something that's 50 pages long done by a university, you can drop that into ChatGPT and say, give me some angles on what I can talk about for my customer base, or my subscriber base, rather, of my newsletter. And it's one thing I'm actually doing right now. And it's coming back with like 4 or 5 different angles from the same piece of content. So suddenly I've just got a week's worth of posts to write about, all off the same content, but every single post is all a little bit of a different take on it. And I only had to go and find one piece of content to come up with that.
Yep. Same thing with videos, same thing with any, even the interesting thing you could do too is you could take your website that's got all your information, your services, all that kind of stuff. You can even drop your website link into ChatGPT and say, hey, analyze, here's my target client, right? Analyze my website, help me create some content based on what I do, my speciality, and look at my website and figure it out. And ChatGPT will come back and say, here's 15, 20 suggestions of posts you should be making, right?
Absolutely. Take it one step further, Dave. If you know that you're selling your services to plumbers, or you're looking for clients in a certain region because you're a local business, then you can also then go and say, now I want you to tailor suggestions to plumbers in this region, and give me some topics to talk about from my, about that. And it'll go and fine tune that information. So you can take
into like the weather, the geographics, the demographics, right? The average income.
Frozen pipes. You might, like here in the Philippines, we don't have frozen pipes. There's no such thing. But we've got
an example that actually, like, here's a real world example. So everybody knows I'm an ambassador. Well, maybe you don't know, but I'm an ambassador for the website Alignable. So it's a networking platform similar to LinkedIn. Well, recently they asked me to do some advertising, and I did. I'm advertising in 4 different communities. Well, I did this exact thing with ChatGPT where I was trying to figure out, I had 4 kind of, I had my 4 main services. So I was like, here's the demographics, here's the communities that I want to advertise in, and here's the 4 products. It helped me create, the copy for the products as well and the services. Now tell me, based on these 4 communities, which community should I advertise which service to? And it went through and it figured out the average income, the demographics of the city, et cetera. And it gave me the actual topics and services that I should advertise. So it's definitely possible and it's easy to do. You just have to know to kind of go in and do it. That's a big thing. ChatGPT is easy.
You're right.
It's about use. Now, granted, you want to, kind of deep dive in a little bit more, continue to ask questions, treat it as like a professor or something like that you continue to kind of deep dive. And hey, well, tell me a little bit more about that, or let's refine that a little bit more. Don't just take the first output and think it's gold.
Oh yeah, ask it questions like, can you give me citations or source material where you found this from so I can check this? Go back and check their source. They'll give you a link. You can go and check. But I mean, you're right. One of the things that's really interesting about what you said there is treating it as a research tool to help you. And the best way to use a research tool is asking the question. If you ask the right question, you'll get the right answer. Ask the wrong question, you'll get the wrong answer. So it's a lot easier now than what it used to be. I used to walk into a library when I was a kid. And for those who don't remember what a library is, it's a place where they store books and you could take them out and go home with them.
And if you didn't bring them back on time, you got a fee, and then you had to pay a fee. And then remember the little cards they used to have in the books too?
Yes.
Like sign your, you could see any person ahead of you that signed out that book.
Yeah. It was hilarious. So good. But like literally, like, how hard was that? Like you wouldn't know what was in each book. So if you had a study assignment, you take out 3 or 4 books because you'd read through those books trying to find the information you're looking for. Now with ChatGPT, you can go through and analyze those books in a matter of minutes to get the information that you want. You can take that cross comparison and mix it and say, like you did, like I've got 4 products that I have on my website. Go look at my website to get information about my products. And these are the 4 counties I want to work in.
Right.
and tell me a little bit about these counties. What's unique about each one of these counties that might be suitable for what I'm doing with my products or my services I'm offering? And just by asking these questions, you can then start to develop more questions. And then eventually you've got yourself this incredibly powerful tool that's taking information from different points, different data points, and putting them together in ways that
Right.
would have taken people days or weeks or months to put together.
You mentioned it, right? That's the biggest thing is just think you back in the day when we were doing a project, we'd get a minimum of like maybe one source, maximum of like maybe five. Like if you had time and you were like a bookworm, right? If you were like me, probably like I went with the one or two sources just because I wanted to get it done. But now with ChatGPT, that same research project, you get unlimited knowledge. You get all the sources in the world that ChatGPT has to give you that information and that research at your fingertips. And
100%.
you can simply, obviously, you could say, hey, draft me up an outline on something, and then you can go in and kind of do it yourself. But AI is going to take all of that time and reduce it to seconds or minutes in some cases, where it's going to give you all that information in minutes. Now, your refining process, your prompting process, that's where the investment is. But think for an hour on ChatGPT, going back on one research topic, used to take us, what, 2-3 weeks maybe to do that?
100%. Absolutely. And you know what's interesting about this? I know people are going to be out there and they're going to be saying, but Dwan, but Dave, the information's not up to date on ChatGPT. Well, guess what? It wasn't up to date when we went to the library either. Some of these books were 15 years old, 20
2,
years
3,
old.
4 years old, yeah.
Some were a couple of months old.
And ChatGPT now, like it's more caught up.
Absolutely.
With the newer versions, if you're paying for the updated versions, like it's more caught up. It knows what's going on. Maybe it's not like up to the minute of 30 seconds ago, but like you just said, either was the resources that we were using before.
Absolutely.
Or the encyclopedias you had. How many times did you go into an attorney's office and you see on their wall and their bookshelf, the whole like version 4, 5, 6 of their encyclopedias of the law? Well, that's not updated either. Like they still have to do new research and internet searches for the most recent law cases, and ChatGPT is going to have all.
I remember as a kid, I used to get bored and I'd pick up an encyclopedia at home and I'd start reading it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize until sometime later.
Than I was.
I was reading a book that was 15 years out of date. So I've got data which is 15 years out of date. I didn't know any better. Come 1995, and I got myself Encarta 95, the encyclopedia on a CD, and suddenly I was able to get more up to date information and realize a lot of the information I had was out of date. And then you start to realize, hold on, you've got to update this thing every single year to have the most up to date information, but it's only up to date to the time it was researched and put out. So if you're doing a research topic, it's very probable you don't need the most up-to-date information anyway. You could just simply say, give me the most up-to-date information to X point in time and make references that this information is from this point in time. Right. You can use that sort of information. It's a great tool. It's probably 1,000 times better, in my opinion, for researching than what's previously been out there. And it doesn't have to be ChatGPT. It could be Perplexity. Perplexity is an incredible tool for doing research, but not all AIs are equal either. My clients back in Australia that I went through about the newsletter stuff, they were both using a paid version of Copilot by Microsoft, which ironically is powered by OpenAI, same people that power ChatGPT.
Right.
I asked them if they had a paid version of ChatGPT Plus, and they're like, no, we don't right now. And I said, okay, no worries. Let's just use what you've got. Screen shared on. 15 prompts later, I said, just to create a damn newsletter, I'm like, you know what? This is what we have to do. You need to close this tab. You need to open up ChatGPT and spend $20 a month. And let me show you what we can do in 5 prompts. And I gave them 5 prompts, same prompts we'd used previously, and we got 10 times better result. And they were like, oh, this was the same for both cases. And I was like, oh, wow, this is incredible. This is great. Okay, you know what? This is worth the $20 for me. I'm not even going to question it. And what we realized is Copilot has its advantages working with Office 365 product and trying to answer questions around Microsoft and, using it in your writing, etc. But what it's not great at is it's not great at doing this sort of unique research and content creation that we were trying to do. ChatGPT was really good at that. So not all AIs are equal. They've all got different strengths. They've all got different
It's all
capabilities.
how they're trained, how they're coded, how they're
Yeah,
developed. Everything is going to be different. The open AI is kind of more, like you said, like more of that robust, system. Now, granted, I'm not even going to claim to know all the stuff on the back end. All I know is what I've done on it. So I'm speaking
yeah.
from experience. There's many opportunities there. So
If you're looking for a good all-rounder tool, ChatGPT is great. But I mean, if you're primarily just going to be doing image generation, then you probably want to use something like Midjourney because it's like a significantly better platform for doing image generation. Like the 7th revision of it now, it's doing great things. But it's all about
you got to
picking
stay on
the right
top of the
tool.
AI. Like that's the big thing. You can't just say like, "Oh, I tried this." I tried this thing like 10 months ago, 12 months ago. I didn't like it. Well, guess what? Like you're like 6 generations behind. Like AI is developing quicker than computers go outdated, right? Or your cell phone goes
Absolutely.
outdated. Like a cell phone you can probably keep for 2, maybe 3 years. Hopefully, it still works. AI is like that. That's 2 months ago is like a 2-year-old cell phone now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
And we're
just
seeing
coming out with so
companies
many things.
like there's a hardware company came out with an AI powered, I think it was called an AI pin. And I was really excited about it about a year and a half ago. So this is a really cool thing. This is going to be great. Well, I heard recently that they ended up shutting down, going, and they don't operate anymore because it moved too quick and they weren't able to solve the problems they were trying to solve.
Right.
Now, you've got other platforms out there right now, like I
There's
believe some of the,
Claude. Claude is another one I think that does that. It's like
Claude.
a
Yeah,
wallet card, and they also have like a necklace bead that I've been looking into as well, just for like meetings. There's different AI
there's
things out
something
there,
new coming out all the time,
all the
and
time, all the time.
if you want to see just how quick the AI road train is going, just look at the content generators that are around AI, or jump onto AppSumo, appsumo.com. Like we can get lifetime deals where all these new platforms are coming out every single week. There's new platforms, and it feels like I've seen something that does something like this. I've seen something that does something like this. Every one of them has got just a little bit of a tweak or a change. Then go back and check 12 months later, and you'll find that some of those companies don't exist anymore because their ideas didn't work out, or wasn't there was somebody who did it better. And that's just, unfortunately, that's the game we're in right now. It's not like you said, phone comes out once a year with an update. This software is coming out with multiple revisions every single month. If you want to see that, go and have a look at a change log or a roadmap on the website for some of these platforms, and you'll see lists and lists and lists of things they're going to do over the next 12 months. And then you'll see lists and lists of stuff that they've already done in the last 12 months, and then all the stuff in the middle that they're working on right now. And you'll see
And
that,
I think ultimately it just becomes like become an early adopter. Like,
yeah,
don't be afraid to be one of the people that like lead the pack in terms of like a software, and also don't be afraid to be one of the quick to change either. Just because you
absolutely.
started something doesn't mean you have to stay with it. Like, hey, this isn't working. It's not like something that I'm really getting caught into. Like, that's fine. Like, find something else. Like,
Well,
that's
when
the
I
beauty
first
of there's
started,
so many different options now.
100%, Dave. Look, when I first started doing content writing with AI, I started with Jasper AI. And you know what?
I don't even remember Jasper.
I stopped using Jasper, probably about almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And Jasper was a great tool at the time, but you know what? It's generations behind what it was capable at the time to what I was able to do with other platforms. It may
Right.
have come a long way since then. I haven't looked at it because I moved on and I found something that it solved my problems and it meets my requirements. And I think that's the key. It's about finding stuff that meets your requirements and just not being afraid to try. That's why I like AppSumo. And this is why you and I talk about it. If you're a member on there and you pay your AppSumo Plus membership, $99 a year, you'll get some protection levels. So if the company goes out of business within 12 months, you get a full refund. You also get 60 days to return any piece of software if it doesn't meet your expectations, no questions asked. So you might have a piece of software on there that you've tried and go, yeah, this was great. It's going to solve my problem. Oh, in theory, it sounded good, but in practice, it just didn't hit the mark. It was just missing.
So AppSumo is a good one for sure. But
and it's
if I would say if you're listening to this, you're watching anything, and you're like I wouldn't even say an advocate of AI. We're definitely, but if you're like one of those party poopers, right, when it comes to AI, and you're always shooting down AI, like just give it a shot. I guarantee you're going to be impressed by the efficiency and the time savings alone that AI is going to bring to your life. Like Absolutely. You shouldn't be going into, even if you use it as like your Google, like stop searching for things on Google. Go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to know what is the best restaurant for Italian around me in Cleveland, Ohio, which is where I am. And it's going to give you all the results of the best things. Instead of you trying to go and search it and look through all the reviews yourself, ChatGPT is going to be able to do that.
And you can go one step further with that, Dave. You can now ask it, can you go and get the Google reviews and list them here for the top 3?
Right. And then give me the ratings, give me, the links to their website. I want to go, check it out, or what's their top, things that they service on their menu. Like all of that could be in ChatGPT. And so you don't have to Google anymore. Like really ChatGPT could be your Google and give you all that results and that strategy and et cetera. So, but we've talked AI. We're always going to continue to talk AI. And just Absolutely. Like, Dwarn and I conversations, here we are 30 minutes into our episode. And we haven't really kind of even dove into any other topic. But that's the unscripted portion. Dwarn and I pre-show, we're talking about, something that we wanted to kind of get into. And so maybe this is a good kind of transition. So if you're looking for more AI talk, make sure you kind of stay tuned for next episode, because we'll always get into AI. But Dwarn and I this week, we've had a few conversations this week, because in our businesses, in our lives, as we said, we're going to go into the kind of the background. We've been kind of searching for like, what is that next way to continue to add additional value to people, right, Dwarn?
Absolutely.
And a recent video that I had seen from Alex Ramosi really stood out to me. And he talked about, like, at the beginning of your business, when you have a lot of time and you're looking to grow, like, how do you just make yourself ridiculously available to the people that are in your programs and in your systems? And it really hit to me, because I was like, man, what am I doing that could be even better? So I had we have our Triumph Mastermind program in the Triumph Business Solutions kind of realm of services, right? And talking with Warren, I'm like, man, how do we make this work? Like, we have great knowledge, great experience, right? Everybody loves kind of talking to us, based on our calendars, and the conversations we've had, and the people that have left us reviews. How do we do that? And Dwarn, like, it was a great conversation we had earlier this week, but like, we just are going to be available all the time. And it led us to the discussion of, we're going to be revamping our Triumph Mastermind program, Dwarn and I. And we're kind of excited about that. Dwarn, I don't know about you. Like, hopefully you are too. I didn't just rope you into this.
I'm more than mildly excited. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm actually really excited. I think for me, it's one of the highlights of the week, where it's really exciting, because it's not something that I would have considered doing myself in the past, because it just seems like a lot of work. Because for those who are wondering what we're talking about here, we're talking about a membership opportunity where we are going to go live every morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, Monday to Friday. And it's either going to be both of us or one of us at a time. And we're going to be talking topics. We're going to be doing training sessions. We're going to be doing hands-on Q&A sessions. And we're going to be basically just listening to what the members want and putting that information out there. And I'm super pumped about it, because I was like, you know what? As a partnership, we can do this. And the value is huge, because every time Dave and I get on a call, we typically try and give a bunch of value. And what we find is not everyone can afford to bring us on full-time or even part-time to get as much value as they would like from working with us. But we also know that they're getting huge value by working with us. So we've decided to come up with this plan of the Triumph Mastermind to allow us to reach more people at a ridiculously low price point and offer huge value where
Right.
like pricing we were talking about, Dave, is like sub $100 a month, right? To get
For
access
the
to us
first,
for
yeah, for the
hours
like, well, yeah, we're looking for
for
that
the
for like
first
the
100
first
people.
100 people. My goal that I have personally in terms of my business is I want to have an impact on at least 1,000 businesses in the next 3 years. Like that's a goal I set for myself at the beginning of 25. Is I want to have an impact on 1,000 businesses, help them grow, help them kind of level up. So part of that was like you got to put yourself outside of your comfort zone. Like people can say 10 businesses and it doesn't require any sort of drastic shift. And this is what you can be thinking about in your business. Don't set your levels or your goals so easy that you don't have to drastically shift the way that you think. For me to say I'm going to impact 1,000 businesses in 3 years, it really did require me to think differently, very differently on what I wanted to do to make that impact. And that's where this idea, listening to the video from Alex, and the idea here is that we're not just going to go live every week. We're still bringing in strategy sessions, so we're going to be doing at least a weekly session, whether just me talking, a strategy deep dive, impact, educational series. Dwarn will also be doing some things every week as well. So not only do you get the daily Q&A, but the idea is like how do we continue to add that value, right? That value proposition to everybody that's there. So we're doing at least one weekly session, educational session. Community, we're also going to have a WhatsApp available for everybody. So, if it's 11 p.m. at night, you're thinking of a question, you can drop a question in the WhatsApp group for everybody. And, Dwar and I, or, some of our other expert partners will be there to kind of answer your question and help out and more. Like we're going to continue to, build this out to be impactful to everybody that's part of the team. And ultimately, like, we're like, how do we make sure that people feel comfortable with it? And what we were discussing was we wanted to do a 10x, in 6 months. If you don't get back at least, you haven't grown 10 times your investment over that 6 month period, we will refund you your investment. Like we are confident that if you're doing and you're attending and you're listening and you're implementing, that these things can really make an impact in your business. Where I've seen, and Dwarren, give me your impact here, but where I've seen where people have struggled to make an impact is because they've just struggled to get started.
Yeah.
Like
take that first step.
Right. Like we can tell you everything. And I've said this in multiple videos in the past. Dwarren, any coach in the world, Tony Robbins, who's the most successful, nobody is you. Nobody can make you do anything. Right. Unless somebody maybe has a gun to your head, but you don't want people walking around, with a gun to your head every single day. You know what I mean? It's not safe. But you have to look yourself in the mirror. You have to tell yourself, yes, I did everything today that I knew I had to do, and I didn't get distracted or I didn't make an excuse for not letting myself get started and to keep moving forward. So as part of that, like you have to have some involvement as well. So if you're attending our sessions, right, if you're implementing the different things that we're doing and you're doing the metrics that we're going to be talking about and supporting you on, and you haven't gotten that ROI, we're going to give you your money back. Like that's fine. Like we wholeheartedly believe that if you don't see a 10x return on what you invest in the Triumph Mastermind program and you attend and you do everything, this is our guarantee for you. We want you to feel safe that you are going to see some sort of result. And as we mentioned, we're going to be releasing some more information, over the next coming weeks. Our ultimate goal is to kind of launch this revamp here at the beginning of May. So when you see the first 100 specials go out, like that's it. Like once the first 100 discounts are done, it's going to be $197 a month. Like that's the goal. Is after 100, anybody who invests $197 a month. We're not going to let you know what the discounts are yet until we release the information next week. But if you are one of those first 100 people, you're really going to get a lifetime. Like you're not like just getting a discount for your first 3 months. Like this is a lifetime discount of being a member of this group. and a member of, the mastermind, we'll keep you informed on that. But if there's anything too, like if you have questions on it, or if there's anything that you're like, I want to see this involved, or I'm hoping this is included, like send us a message, drop a comment down below the video, shoot us a DM, email, however you typically get a hold of me and Dwarren. But we want to hear from you as well, because we want to make sure that this thing is very impactful to you and your business, whether you're 10 years in or you're just getting started. Like, how can we support you? And the best way we thought of that is being available every day for an hour, for a Q&A, for you to drop in and say, hey, like, I have this question. What do I got to do? Boom. Let's have a chat. And everybody else who's going to listen to it, they're all going to be recorded. They're all going to be indexed so that you can drop into the community, see any previous recordings, even if you can't see, the live version. But that's, I mean, I could go on for, a day or so on this, right, Dorian? But what do you
Absolutely.
got? I mean, that you want to, we're excited about it.
Well, I think one of the things to really focus on here too is we're not talking about a group coaching session where we're going to try and hold you accountable for everything. This is just, we're going to be there to help you and give you practical information and assistance. Some of my plans are going to be basically giving you some training sessions on how to use the AI tools that I use better. Talking about different tools that I know that I've used, or I've got people that I've worked with who use, and how it helps solve problems within their businesses. Taking some of these pre-existing solutions that we put in place for people in marketing and helping with that. Doing audits on, websites and talking about what makes a good website, what doesn't make a good website. All this sort of information that's, in my head and in Dave's head, which we know, we want to share that. We want to get that out. We want to let you guys know. We want to show you how we're using tools to better our businesses and better ourselves. And these are the sort of things which you may not love every episode. You may not get something out of every episode, but I guarantee that you're going to get something out of at least one episode a week, or maybe one episode a month. Right. I would certainly hope it's more than one episode a month, but there's going to be so much value packed into this that we know that people are going to love it. And we've got clients, like we said, and new people that we meet all the time on, meetings, and we just share these little tidbits of information which we know, but obviously other people don't know. And the value from that is just incredible, and people love it. So we thought, you know what, let's just open the doors and let other people come in and do that. And what's even better about this, Dave, and this is what I'm really excited about, is we're going to be developing a community. Yep. There's going to be the ability for people to connect and network with other people within this network that we're creating. And we're going to encourage that. You can help each other. You can share ideas. You might be able to work together with somebody in the group as well. There's going to be opportunities there which you may not even be aware of, and we're not even aware of yet. So We're going to grow this. We're going to develop it. It's going to be very organic. And it's
grassroots, right? It's me and Dwarren, who, all honesty, probably should have never met, should have never been connected, right? In terms of, like, if it wasn't the world that we live in now, we're on the opposite ends of the earth. But Dwarren and I, for the last 2.5 years, have literally pretty much had a conversation every single week, multiple times a week. And we both have experience in different realms that we want to bring, and that we have a lot of people we've chatted with. We have a lot of conversations with people. And we want, not only, like, we're doing this out of fun too, because we love just chatting and having a conversation and kind of learning different things about each other as well. What's that?
We like to talk, do we?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking for myself. But
maybe we should get into radio. My mom says I got a face for radio.
I mean, we have the audio version of the podcast. I don't know. Maybe let us know if we have radio voices, or maybe I should just talk like this. But ultimately, it's a driven passion to help you. Like, if you're listening to this, you're watching this, like, that's the ultimate goal. And if we can give back in any way, we can add value in any ways, like, continue to share with us. Like, that's what we're going to be. And if we can do it, we're going to try to find a way to do it. The ultimate goal is that we are here to answer your questions. So if you hear about something, you're implementing something, and you're like, I have a question about this, you have a place to go that you have experts that can answer the question for you like right away. You don't have to like try to solve it yourself. And that's to deal with the WhatsApp, kind of live conversation back and forth, the community to network with people and instant message people on there, as well as, we'll be rolling out into the future. Like, here's the other thing I guess we didn't mention too. Well, actually, I'm going to hold this off. You got to pay attention when we release the information,
Yeah.
because we want you. We're going to hold something off, but trust us, you're going to love it. If you're one of the founding members, and you're going to get all this access for lifetime, but we'll kind of roll out some of this information next week as well. We look forward to kind of sharing it with you. But if you have questions on it, or you want to be one of those first 100, make sure you're subscribed. Two, if you want to be one of the first people, like send us an email, drop us a message. We, somewhere, down below, or email us, send us, or phone call, whatever you want to do, send us a text message. Give us your name. We'll make sure you get the information right away. But Jordan, anything else you want to say on that? Obviously we could go on for a long time about it, but I really feel like it's going to add a lot of people value, and it's going to help me reach my goal that I set for myself of reaching and having that impact on 1,000 businesses. And who knows, maybe I should up that goal. Maybe it's 5,000.
Hey, you know what? Who knows, Dave? Let's see how this rolls, right? For me, anyone who knows me, they know that I'm always discovering something new that I can do with AI or an app or some new technique that I've discovered, and I love to share. So Dave's much the same. So there's going to be so much great value here. There's going to be so much cool information we're going to share. We're going to be giving away suggestions, ideas, and we're going to be helping people. And look, if you're one of the members and you're signed in and we're helping you, just think there's going to be other people in the community who may love that information as well, or may come in later and offer you additional assistance and information to help you. We're not talking about a group of business coaches. We're not talking about a group of, a niched down type of business. This is open to everybody because we're talking about broad spectrum business related, marketing related, AI related access and training and tools and all that sort of wonderful stuff. And we're going to really drive this in the direction of whoever turns up for those meetings on the day. We're going to make sure that we tailor it. We're going to work with them. We're going to answer questions that they really want. How many times have you woke up in the morning and go, look, I need to find out how to do this. Well, now you can just, if you're a member, jump on in that morning session and ask the question, and maybe we've got the answer, or we might be able to push you in the right direction. That's really powerful, just having that ability to do that, in my opinion, at least.
No, that's the ultimate goal is how do we help you, push you in the right direction? As I just said earlier, you control what you do. You're in the ultimate driver's seat of where you're heading in the future. You get to make the decisions. Jordan and I can't. We just want to give you all the resources that we have available to bring it to you and help you with that, and try to make it easier for you. That's all we can do.
100%. I love it, Dave. I'm excited.
I'm stoked, man. Again, if you're stay focused. Next week, we're going to be releasing some information, every single day, kind of getting everybody closer. The ultimate goal, like I said, is going to be launched beginning of May. And hopefully we have, not hopefully, I know we are going to have the first 100 filled up by the time we launch in May. And we're looking forward to it. So if anybody has any questions on it, reach out, send us a text, shoot us an email, drop a comment down below this video too. We will get in contact and ensure that you have the information available as we're launching this. But we want you to see you involved in the system, in the program, in the mastermind. But Jordan, I think great episode again, unscripted. Obviously we know we wanted to talk a little bit about the mastermind, but it's because we're both stoked about it. But I love the AI conversation.
Yeah.
We could go on for AI for days too. There's just so many opportunities and so many different ways to use it and make yourself more efficient. Anything else that was like top of mind that you're focused on this week for yourself and your business?
Well, I finally released my, with the assistance of AI to do some editing with me, I was able to release my first book on Amazon.
Nice. So, did it get approved? I know you were talking about getting approved.
It got approved. I even got the cover approved, so I'm pretty chuffed about that.
Nice.
So The Art of Conversation by Dwan Bernhagen. It's up there on Amazon for a whole $3.99 a month. Sorry,
Nice. A
$3.99
month?
purchase. Yeah, you can pay per month if you want. No, it's $3.99 one-time purchase. It's
And
not.
what's the topic? What's the topic of the book?
It's all about how to have better conversations with people
Love
and
it.
how to communicate digitally, how to communicate with AI, how to generally communicate and have conversations that actually are meaningful and get you what you're looking for.
Right.
And it's all based on experience, some great frameworks that I use myself, as well as over 20 years doing what I do. So I think it's a really cool tool. I believe if you're a Kindle Unlimited partner, you can actually get it for free as
You have
part
the
of
audiobook?
part of the
Are
program.
you you're gonna release the audio version of it?
I don't know, maybe when I get some time, maybe I don't know if I'll talk it or I'll use a really nice AI voiceover that I find, and then I'll have to have like
Right.
the Australian version and then the American version, maybe just to mix things up. But no, look, at this point, I've got the first copy out, which is great. Um, yeah, I hope someone gets some value from it. I'm sure that there's a lot of value in there for our listeners, and that was really exciting. That was something I wrote the first draft of that probably about a year and a half ago,
Okay.
and just stumbled across it a couple of weeks ago when I was looking for something else. My draft, and I was like, oh, I remember that. And I decided to AI is where it is now, where I was able to come in and actually use it in a way to edit and give me information to help me finish the book, which was
Right.
fantastic.
Well,
And
so you say you found it like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, and in that
yeah,
frame period, that time period, you were able to get it finished, published, artwork done on a copy, and it's out there. It's approved on Amazon. I mean, just think of that timeline.
absolutely,
Just think,
yeah,
if you had to do
yeah,
that manually back in the day, it would probably taken you like 3 months just to have an editor review it, give you back feedback. Then you got to change it. Then you got to send it back. Like, just think of the
100%.
efficiency that we were
It
talking
is
about
right. I
earlier.
mean, and it's interesting you should say that because one of the use case, I know we said we weren't going to go back into the AI conversation, but one
We
of the
always
things
are going to do AI. Like,
I
this is
know,
one of those things.
right? One of the cool things I found was this technique that I discovered where I was able to drop my manuscript into ChatGPT and I told it to be really critical, analyze my writing, tell me if there is plot holes, missing information, things that don't make sense. Basically I told it everything, find every problem you can and then recommend anything to improve.
Right.
And that's what it did. It came back with a whole bunch of suggestions. So I was then able to work a few more sections, add a few more chapters, build out, and really refine my framework that I used in the platform, which was really cool. So that's
Right.
something which I was able to then replicate and use for a small
Well, congrats. You're
short.
now an author on Amazon. That's awesome news. It's a good win. I love it. Love it.
I know, right? I was like, that's kind of wicked. That was a bucket list item, and that's now there, and
It's now
I'm
done. It's
excited.
there. You're on Amazon. Who can say that? Not many people can say they're an author on Amazon. So,
Absolutely, and it's
congrats.
something unique. It's something, from the heart. It's something I feel passionate about, and I think
Right.
that's really cool, right? I was able
Love
to.
it.
I was actually that inspired. I went out and pulled out a couple of short stories that I wrote um, about everyday life in the Philippines about 2 years ago, and it was before I launched Be Savvy. Actually, I was doing that while we were waiting for funding. I was kind of trying to find things to fill my time, so I didn't
Right.
stress out about because I'm not much of a patient person, especially back then. And
You sure?
yeah, there is that. And yeah, I was able to take that, and I was able to rewrite one of my short stories, and it ended up doubling in size. And I was able to use the same technique to find all the plot holes and fill my plot holes. And it's a nonfiction piece based on a story that I'd heard, and it's fantastic. So I'm excited. I'll probably look at that's currently being read by a few friends and family members
Okay.
to get their feedback before I actually go ahead and publish that one. But I'll probably be
Nice.
publishing that by early next month is my aim. So
Well, there you go.
I'm excited. I'm inspired. I'm using the tools that are available to me to do more, to achieve more. and to
Well,
start.
and you mentioned, like I saw like your headline on one of your art was, are you seeing AI as a tool, or are you seeing it as a teammate? And there is a
Absolutely.
big difference in that thought process. Like if you see it as a tool, it's like, oh, it's there, whatever, I'll use it like every once in a while,
Mm.
right? But if you really see it as a teammate, it's there to help you, and it's truly there to be another person, an extension of you, to just improve your time. And I think that's the ultimate
Absolutely.
goal. Is imagine, as we talked about, using the example we used earlier about the research topic, you know, it's like having 100 versions of you, if not more, going to all the different libraries in the world to gather information on a topic and then bringing it back to you all in like 30 seconds. Like you can't do that, and
No.
AI lets you do it. So a lot
It,
of
you know,
lot of opportunity.
absolutely. And for me, it's like this, right? I think of a carpenter. A carpenter has a hammer, and they have a nail gun. There's going to be moments where the hammer is the best tool. There's going to be other moments where the nail gun's the best tool. Does using a nail gun to build a house cheating? No. It's more
Right.
efficient and it makes more sense. So a nail gun could be a teammate that you can't live without. And if you don't have your teammate, the nail gun, life's going to be really, really, really average for you as a builder of that day. So
Or if you're
I
trying to
think
be a
you're right.
solo builder, you know what I mean? Like if you had an
Oh
AI
yeah,
tool there that can help you like lift a piece of wood, that's essentially when you think about a process like writing or editing or copy and all that kind of stuff. It's instead of you trying to do it solo and lifting all that weight yourself, AI is literally there, and this is probably an image that you could create with AI, right? It's you with the AI bot lifting the workload of everything of being a business owner. And
absolutely.
now with AI, it shouldn't be as difficult as it was 3 to 4 years ago being a business owner. Right, 3 to 4 years ago, prior to AI, just think about it. Like you had to do everything. You had to hire a copywriter. You had to do all this stuff. Now you can do this. I'm not saying don't hire those people because a lot of times they are great. But if you're trying to bootstrap, it's a lot easier now to bootstrap a business
Oh,
than
it
than it
is.
is to kind of get off the ground running than it was 4 or 5 years ago.
It's also a great tool for just helping with the workload. Like I had a prime example last week where I had to provide a customer a whole bunch of summary information based on a lot of data, like a lot of data. And it's like brain melting amount of data. So,
Right.
and it was from three different sources that I had to put all this together. So I was able to drop all that in and create myself an algorithm that, or a prompt, however you want to refer to that, which generated and joined all that information together. And then I was able to ask for it to output certain information for me that I was able to collate and put together as the final result that I sent to the client. And they were really happy with it. And that's something that took me about an hour and a half to do, where I would have been there for 3 days previously trying to do the same thing.
Right.
And I would have hated every single moment of that 3 days doing it because it's
Yep.
just not something I find interesting and or fun if I've got to put that much time in it because I know what else I'm not doing when I'm doing that.
Right.
And whilst it's important, I'd be very frustrated that I wasn't doing that.
Yeah. So I'm
Um,
sure. I mean, we're going to continue to do that, and you're probably going to get sick of Dwarden and I talking about AI and how you should be using AI. But hopefully, you're going to learn something that in the use cases that we're giving you to impact your business. So we're never going to stop talking about it, I don't think. But Dwarden, I hate to call it a day, right, or a session, but I got to get to an actual meeting with some clients. You know what I mean? But great conversation again today. Also, just to tease you, like make sure you're following both Warren and I because next week we're going to continue to start releasing more and more of this information. Um, Probably even towards the end of the week, open it up for the first 100.
yeah.
And so that you guys can start getting in, lock in your lifetime discount as well as we're releasing more of this information. But Dwar, anything else that you want to say? I again, if you made it this far, I love you. Dwarren loves you. We appreciate you kind of being here and listening. Hopefully, you got one or two things out of today's episode that can impact you, and we know you will. But Dwarren, anything you wanted to wrap up with?
Yeah, look, I'm encouraging anyone who's listening who's getting something out of this, feel free to come and, send me a connection request on LinkedIn or Alignable if you like. More
Yep.
than happy to connect with you on those two platforms. And yeah, let's have a chat. You can follow me. You can sign up for my newsletter, Wired for Growth. And,
Yep.
maybe there's some great stuff in there you're going to be able to take away and, learn a bit more about what we talk about. And I'm
And we'll
really
also down
excited.
below, like we'll have some of our links and stuff like that.
Perfect.
As we release more information too, if you made it this far and you're listening, we'll also have the link in the comment description to like the sign up form too. So you can, get signed up, find out more information. When we release that, we'll add it to the description of this video. But Dwarren, I'm glad that me and you on Alignable were connected 2.5 years ago, because
Yeah.
we're going to accomplish many great things. Like that's the beauty of like I'm looking forward to like even 12 months from now, looking back at this podcast episode and saying, man, we knew it. Like we just didn't know how much we knew it, but we knew it. And in 12 months, the hopefully like we're my goal for 12 months is to be in a spot where you and I have actually met face to face.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
We're gonna fly you and your wife in, right? Or maybe we'll go out to you, me and my wife. And maybe by then, I know I'm engaged, but we'll see. Maybe we're married, maybe we're not by then. We haven't set a date yet. But
Set a goal.
we'll go out to you and visit you. I don't know yet. But my
We'll
goal
figure this
by
out.
12 months, we will figure it out that we and you have met face to face somehow. As well as,
That'd be awesome.
maybe we even do a live session with everybody that's part of the membership, where we're like, hey man, we're just going to do this awesome like session where we bring everybody together. Who knows? But
That'd be cool, right?
I know that when we look back on this 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, we are going to be like, that's when it all started. Like that week, right before Dwarren and I talked on April 11th, with the podcast, that's when things kicked off and everything started from there. I wholeheartedly believe it. I had a feeling at the beginning of this year, like it was my birthday's 2/25 and it's 2025. So I was like, man, this is going to be an awesome kick-ass year. Like I told myself that at the beginning of the year. Things are falling in place. Things are moving forward. And sometimes it's stressful as a business owner. We feel you. I feel it. I feel it almost every day. Especially this morning, I was trying to put together like the cash flow projection. Hey, that's okay. Like, it's going to happen that time sometimes. But knowing that you're doing the right things and you're doing them for the right reasons to help people, in the end, the universe is going to bring all of that in line. It's going to line it up for you.
I love that, Dave. And you know what I'm super excited about our new community membership initiative here is I love hearing the success stories from people when they come and tell us, hey, I implemented what you said and holy cow, I got 750 impressions in my first article. Or, I got this result. How cool is that? You were right. Or what you suggested really did work. I love it. Thank you for that. There's so many great stories that I've had over the years where I've talked to people, and I'm just looking forward to hearing more of those stories. I'm looking forward to our, Q&As turning into sharing your success with us as to what you've implemented and what's worked for you, and inspiring other people in the community to give it a crack and give it a go and see how it works for them.
Right.
And not everything is going to work for everyone, but just hearing how someone else has done something and taken an approach on it, I think that's huge. And I think that's like the sort of value where there's no way I could talk to 100 business owners every month. It's just not possible. I'm
I
not
think
able.
ultimately it's also going to be prioritizing, because I feel like
Exactly.
a lot of times people that I have a conversation with is they are pointed in the wrong direction, right? Their compass is pointing them south when it needs to be pointing them north. And that's what the community is for, is that you can have people to support you and keep your compass pointed, north, and help you prioritize what you're working on or where you're going and all that's different things. And I feel like this is that opportunity for a lot of people and for us to bring that to people, that instead of us doing it piecemeal, we can have that impact on a lot of people's lives that we want. And both of us, know that we want. So I'm looking forward to doing it with you, Dwarren, for sure.
Me too, Dave. Like, I love the fact that you came to me and talked to me about this initiative, and I'm really happy to be involved. And what? I'm just looking forward to being able to touch other people's lives in their business, in their personal work, whatever that may be, and being able to give them some guidance and some help and train them up on some basic things that are basic for me, but not basic for others,
Right.
and just getting, and being able to help be a part of their success. Because like you and I said, we just want to help other people be successful. That's what it's all about for us. So if we can do that and we can be a part of your journey, and we give you the gateway, the tools, and enable you to do that, hell, that's awesome. That's amazing. I'm in for that. Like I said, I couldn't talk to 100 people one-on-one every month, but if you're 100, we can talk to 100 members in a month together, maybe more, and help them. That's awesome. Like that's a dream that I would never have thought would come true.
And that's the ultimate passion that we have. When I come back, and it is that passion, but it's also like something that we have experience in that we can add value to people, whether it's finance, bookkeeping, accounting, strategy, operations, AI, automation, like website. Like, we're going to make sure that we're adding some sort of value every single day of the week to you, along with the weekly sessions, so that you feel like you're getting the most and that you are getting the most to make strategy impact changes in your life, in your business, etc. So, Dwarren, before like I said, I got to jump. I got a meeting here in about 7 minutes, but great conversation again today, dude. I'm looking forward to doing this next week. I'm looking forward to doing this every day, with you. The problem is going to be, are Dwarren and I going to be able to shut up after 60 minutes? Because I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but maybe I'll just have to schedule myself like an 11 a.m. meeting every day, so that way I have to shut up and get off the call.
That's it. I'll just organize the wife to come and knock on my door at 11 p.m., which is my 11 p.m. Hey, hun, I need you to come to the bed.
I need you to come shut me up because I got to go do something else. But we love you all. Thank you for being here. Again, do all that fun algorithmy stuff. Like it, subscribe, comment down below. If you want to be one of those first 100 and you're interested, like, make sure you comment with like your name and email address, or just say, hey, like me, we'll connect with you. We'll get it somehow to make sure that you have the information right when we release it next week. Because if you're involved, if you're here, we love you. We want you to be involved as well. But until then, Dwarren, thank you again for being here with me, brother. If you have a question on anything we talked about today, whether it's AI or anything, feel free to reach out. We love you. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode. I hope you have a wonderful and fantastic rest of your day. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, Dave. Take care, everyone.
See you, everyone. Bye.